Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Rod Brown. Thank you for checking out Your Turn podcast. This week, we're actually going to be talking about politics. I know everybody hates talking about politics, and it causes arguments and everything. But for me personally, I like hearing other people's stories and beliefs, and because everyone has such different beliefs. So, for this first topic of politics, I interviewed my friend Kelley Germanson. When I had talked to her originally about politics, I thought a lot of her views were very interesting. And I thought, hey, might as well let the whole world hear her views, because she's a side, her views are a side I don't think people hear too much of. So anyways, Kelley Germanson's a very cool person. This is a great interview. Check this out. All right, Kelley, so the first thing I want to ask you about is your upbringing and how you became a conservative.
Well, I'm an Army brat, so I grew up with, things have to be done, and family dinners. It wasn't really religious. We didn't grow up really religious. My parents went to church. They tried to get me to church, and I actually did not want to be there. So religion has nothing to do with me being a conservative. What it has to do with me being a conservative is how my father taught me that it's up to me to be who I am. It's not, I can't rely on anybody else. I have to rely on myself.
That makes sense, definitely. So, what I want to start out with is socialism, I guess, because everyone's calling Obama a socialist, whether you believe that or not.
So the definition of socialism is the property is owned by state, and that everybody is equal. The definition of capitalism, it utilizes willpower of individuals, especially entrepreneurs. I can see how people feel that socialist is a good idea. I mean, it's good on paper. But what I think people have a perception of socialism that everybody's going to be equal and the world's going to stay the same. But they don't realize that most of the freedoms will be taken away. And I know I have a lot of people, friends in the UK, and that laugh, and they say, your freedom of speech, your freedom of press, we don't have it. They really don't honestly believe that Americans have the freedom of press. They think it's all, and it's kind of true when you look at it. It's all slanted. It's all slanted.
Okay, so I have a friend who is hardcore liberal, and he's like way to the left. He thinks that the media is all right-wing, conservative-based. He thinks it's all lies and everything. But I've always looked at it as most of the media is, swings to the left, while Fox News swings to the right. Do you think? Is that true? Do you think Fox News is only for conservatives, or?
I'd have to disagree that Fox News is only for conservatives. They have a lot. Juan Williams is definitely not a conservative. He's definitely a liberal, and he gives very good commentaries. He's very educated. He's not, listening to him, you don't want to, you don't want to hurt him. But he'll tell you like it is, and I think Fox tells it like it is. Now, if you watch Sean Hannity, yeah, he's very right wing. He's going to talk how he feels, but that's what he's paid to do. He's not paid to give the facts. The problem I have with all media is how they give facts, and I agree. A lot of times when I watch Fox News, their facts are sometimes slanted.
Sure. But
so is CNN, so is MSNBC. I think that's what a lot of the UK people laugh about. You don't have freedom of press, because your freedom of press, you have Obama telling people you can't talk to Fox News. I will only talk to them. Where's your freedom of press? It's very sad. I don't think it's one way. I don't see how CNN is slanted right, but that's just my opinion.
Right. I hear you. Okay, I kind of like to go back to the socialist question. Would it really be that bad for America to go socialist?
Well, I think the right question is, do you work for the government, or does the government work for you?
Right.
I think that is the biggest question. I don't think socialists will ever come to be until we lose our free will. Because if we have free will, we have no socialism. It just cannot work. I also don't think there's a perfect solution. I don't think capitalism is perfect. I don't think anything's perfect. And if we were going to get technical, I think we're more imperialism.
Really?
So there's no easy solution for that. But I'd also like to say, some of the questions that you've asked me, there are some words, whore and slut, and as offensive as they may be, you have the freedom to say that to me. But if we talk about France, let's talk about France for a little bit. One of my favorite people is Brigitte Bardot. Do you know who Brigitte Bardot is?
I do, yeah.
She's a big, huge animal activist. She's a little too far, but she's a big animal activist. And she wrote a book. And she talks about how Muslims are cruel and barbaric on how they slaughter animals for, sacrificial and stuff. And she says that the extremist Muslims are responsible for terrorism. Guess what happened to her in France?
She was killed.
No, she's alive.
No, okay, I don't know.
She's arrested.
Oh, okay.
Because you cannot say that.
No kidding, huh?
Because they do not have that. In the UK, they have a version, but it's called the freedom of expression. So if you were to use the word whore, slut, the N-word, all those bad words, you'd be arrested.
Really?
Because you don't have that freedom. So are you willing to give up every single freedom that you have? Are you willing to let the government control everything you do? Because I don't want the government to tell me where I can work and where I can't, where I should go to school, where I can't, what kind of education, what I can't, what kind of medical stuff they want to perform on me and what they can't. I don't think the government has, the right to do that. And, if I go that far, then we have to talk about abortions. Because you have people who are on the left and they say, government, get out of our bodies. Government, get out of our bodies when it comes to abortion. And you have people on the right saying, no, we want the government involved. We want the government involved. Then you go to healthcare, and it's a role reversal. So now you have people on the left, no, we want the government. We want the government in our, bodies. And then you have people on the right, oh, no, government shouldn't be. So it's pretty funny how,
Hypocritical.
They're very, very much so.
Yeah, definitely.
And, I think that's another, thing with the Tea Party is, the Tea Party just wanted people to say what they mean and mean what they say.
Right. So you're all for the Tea Party?
I think it's kind of gone, a little bit too far.
Sure.
But yeah, I think I don't have a problem with the Tea Party. A lot of people in the Tea Party. And I know a lot of people in the Tea Party that they call them Uncle Toms. And I think that is bad. That's just horrible to say that about people.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Well, I'd like to move on to George Bush, if that's all right. Okay. I think he's one of the most controversial presidents we've ever had, or at least in my lifetime. And
Think?
I think maybe. Well, as far as people, maybe one of the most hated.
You think? Oh, really?
Well, Carter. Sure. Sure,
but he's kind of tried to redeem himself after his presidency, but okay. I
well, you know what I'm saying. I think Bush is probably one of the most hated. I've never heard a president talked about so badly.
They do about Obama.
Sure, but not like Bush. Everything he did was wrong.
Oh yeah.
I've heard that he has the lowest IQ of any president. He screwed up during the Katrina, taking too long to get out there, and he's racist. He went after Saddam just to, as revenge for his father, stuff like that. What do you think about George Bush?
Well, in regards to the lowest IQ, people thinking that, it's a pop culture question. It's an urban legend. It was created by LinkyDink.com, and at the end of the whole thing, they said, "This is our hoax." It's not fact-based. It's totally untrue. And IQ tests, in that matter, with my background in psychology, there's so many debates on them. How do you measure a person's ability to reason? How do you measure their intelligence? You can measure what they know, but you can't measure their intelligence and how they reason. You just can't do that. As for Katrina, the primary responsibility for disasters response lies within Mayor, I'm going to butcher his word, but Mayor Nugent. It was his responsibility, and other local officials. The fact is that in our country, state and local governments have primary responsibility in dealing with local disasters. FEMA was created in 1979, and it was to assist local governments after disasters have happened.
Oh, really?
And if we're going to go there, weren't those people told to evacuate?
Sure.
I'm not sure, weren't they?
Oh, yeah. But some of them didn't have transportation to evacuate.
They couldn't walk. They couldn't walk before it got really bad. It's a horrible disaster. I think the disaster's just, it was horrible, but they didn't blame Bush for 9/11. and how it's the same thing. So.
Well, some people blame him, all the conspiracy theorists and all that stuff. But
well, that's another entire entity that is so not fact based.
The next podcast will cover that. I'm just kidding. So, let's go. I mean, you cool talking about the Iraq War, us going to Iraq and all that.
Well, I think if you're going to talk about the Iraq War, I think you just need to do your own research. I think people who want to, it's just people who want to talk. Yeah, that's all it is. They want to complain. They want to talk. And we're still there. And Obama has been president for how long? Does he just want oil? What is the price of oil right now?
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. All right, so most conservatives support having religion or prayer in public schools. What if the religion was Muslim?
Conservatives want religion in school?
Well, prayer, I know.
Well, I mean, they do it all the time. I mean, what do you mean? I'm not quite sure what you mean.
Well, I know, with like taking God out of the Pledge of Allegiance or stuff like that. I mean,
that's just what the words are. I don't. You're going to fight that. I mean, it's like that one guy fighting that. Then he wanted to fight the dollar bill. It's silly. It has really nothing to do with religion in schools.
Sure.
And my sister, because I had my sister. I pretty much raised her, and she had a class, and her teacher was trying to compare the Book of Psalms to the Iliad and the Odyssey. I complained. I was so livid.
Really?
It should not. There's no comparison. It should not be in school. I don't know many conservatives who think it should be in school. And as far as Muslim is not a religion, it's Islam.
Okay.
And in my religious studies, I was the one who presented Islam, and I taught the majority of it.
Really? So, if you don't mind me asking, are you religious at all?
I would say I'm more spiritual.
Spiritual.
I don't, we talk about organized religion, I'm just going to shut it off. I don't want to hear it.
Sure.
Organized religion is just, in my opinion, a way to have the masses think a certain way. Morality is something that's instilled. I mean, if you think about psychology and what they talk about when they say morality, you either have empathy or you don't. Serial killers do not have empathy. They don't have those morals. So you either do or you don't. I don't need an organized religion to tell me, what's good and what's bad. I would say I would know what's good and what's bad, and I would say it's how I was brought up. What's good. I know you don't touch anybody, and I know why not. You don't hit people because that causes harm.
Right. Well, so I know some people are still kind of scared of Islam because of what happened, 9/11 and.
Well, those are, but now see, I get that point, and what people need to understand is, let's look at liberals, and, far left and far right. You have extremists. You have extremists on far right who will kill a doctor because of abortion. You have extremists on far left who will bomb people because whatever. So you have extremists in everything. You have extremists in Islam. You have bad extremists, and when only certain people are allowed to read the Quran and translate it and be able to tell you what it means. So you'll have extremists who will tell people,
their beliefs.
Right. You can lie to your enemy. You can kill him under the name of Allah. It's not everybody in Islam who thinks that way.
Sure.
But there are extremists, and there's extremists in everything.
Sure.